guys, it's gonna be another get ready with me. Um, I don't know what else to do on my channel because I love doing these kind of videos, and there's not much else you can do when you don't have really a cooperative editing system and things like that. So it's Easter year round for me. I am an Easter fanatic. We had a double rainbow this morning. It was a full double rainbow that literally spread all across our town. Um, it was absolutely gorgeous. The sky was pink. The birds were chirping. The leaves were all different colors. The trees were popping. It was gorgeous. Um, and it's a sign of blessings and good fortune and things like that. And my kids loved it. And it was great because today's a Friday and it was a great way to set them off to school. And yesterday was kind of like the past couple of days have been kind of weird. Yesterday I was driving to the dollar store and the traffic was just so chaotic, and like people were driving like they were absolutely insane. And I almost got in a car accident yesterday because somebody decided that they wanted to come over into my lane without looking in their blind spot and not just come right on over, and they almost smashed right into the side of my truck and knocked me over into the third lane, the turning lane. They almost just smashed me right over. Thankfully that did not happen. I was able to avoid it, but it was very strange yesterday, and everybody was very aggressive on the road. And then when I would go into the stores, people were like really crabby, and there was this one lady. She got mad. She was at Sam's Club. It was either Sam's Club or someplace else, and she was upset because when we were in the parking lot, I was trying to pull out. I saw her, so I let her go. Like I was like, go ahead. Well, I could tell she was frustrated, and her daughter was like, like, sorry, my mom's crabby. And we got inside the store, and I kept running into her when I was in the store. And she looked at me and she goes, wow, we just keep running into each other, don't we? And usually when that happens, it's my first response is I would, got mad. But I didn't, because I've been trying to work on myself lately when it comes to my anger, and I've been trying really hard to work on my temper and my attitude towards life and things like that. So my first response was to react back, but I didn't. And I just realized that maybe she was having a bad day, maybe she was in a hurry, maybe she wanted to get back home, maybe she wasn't feeling good. Don't mind this piece of hair right here. That's a break. And it's really thick right there, so it bends. It's driving me crazy. So yeah, I've been trying really hard just to kind of keep it pushing kind of attitude and don't really let people get to you. Um, it was kind of been happening, and that's what happens when you're trying to improve in one area of your life. Like all of a sudden, things will just keep popping up that will test that or what you're working on. It will keep testing it, and I cannot find my concealer. There it is. And then I was like taking some cans back yesterday, and there was a lady in the can. I know her because she used to hang out at one of the places I used to work at. She's known to kind of just be a bully, and she is that's just the way she is. And she was standing in the can room, and I was finished. I only had like two cans. They were destroyed. And she was saying something, and she was speaking directly to me because there was nobody else in the room with us. And I just kind of like the old me would have responded and turned around and said something to her, but I didn't. And then I had this thought in my mind. I was like, I'm gonna go report her to the service desk. But then the other side of me was like, no, keep it pushing, let it go. You need to let stuff go and let it. It's not that big of a deal. So I didn't, and I felt really good that I didn't, and I just ignored it. So that's kind of been like my new motto right now. Is just keep it pushing. whatever you're doing, focus on you. Quit with the petty stuff. Let things go. And stop making so much big deals out of like things that are not that big of a deal. Try to control my anger. Angy? I said that wrong. Try to control my anger, my temper. That is exhausting. Like the older that I'm getting, it's starting to get kind of tiring. Like I exhaust myself. Like I'm like, there's things that I just don't really care about anymore. But I feel like sometimes I'm trying to care, if that makes sense. Like I'm like, I should care about this. No, you shouldn't. If you don't care, you don't care and let it go. And it's just tiring to constantly be in a certain mode like all the time. And I'm just getting older. I don't want to be that way anymore. I'm growing up. But you will get tested when you're working on stuff. You really will. And it's like it'll come from your family members. It'll happen not just from strangers. Your family will test you. Your spouses, your children, your mom, your dad, your grandparents. Like it'll happen. And it's just basically, it's kind of like I read this quote a long time ago that said when you pray to God about certain things, like example, if you say, hey God, I want more patience, he's going to throw things at you that are going to require you to find that patience. And I've had that happen to me a lot in my life when I didn't understand it. And I'd be like, what the heck? I'd be like, I prayed about something, but I didn't see at that time those situations that I was in gave me the patience or whatever I was praying for. And it's kind of the same, but the thing is that there was a lot of situations that got thrown at me that required me to figure that out. And that's what happens is when you pray about something or you want to work on something, the universe is going to throw things at you that's going to require you to act on that. So when something happens, let's say, like the whole car situation, when I almost got in a car accident yesterday, the old me would have just flipped out on that lady and flipped her off and started yelling and screaming and having a fit and calling my mom and having like a heyday about it. Instead, something came over me that was like, take a minute and realize that you're scared right now. And that's okay because you almost got hit by a car. And let it go. Let it go. And just be thankful that you didn't get hit by a car. My eyebrows are so bad right now. Sometimes I go through lazy periods where I don't want to pluck them. And I'm not even really sure if I want to pluck them anymore. I've been kind of debating for the past couple of years and just letting them go. Like, I've really been thinking about it. And I want to see, like, the natural shape of my eyebrow. But the problem is my natural eyebrows drop to, like, all the way down here. So I don't really know if I want to or not. I was thinking about just getting, like, little shavers and just shaving them. I realized too that a lot of triggers that I have are initially from pain, like when I'm in pain or if I don't feel good or fear, like when I almost got hit by a car yesterday. I get mad and like I said, I would have flipped out on that girl, and that's what a lot of people do. Obviously, it's called road rage, and I'm just kind of like I said, I'm kind of sick and tired of putting all my energy all the time into stupid crap. Like I'm sick and tired of it's like I said, it's exhausting. Like you just get to a point where you're just like, man, this world is so annoying, and it is. That's the problem. Is that this world is corrupted. This world is annoying. It's very annoying, and there's a lot of things that are gonna happen that are going to test everything. It's gonna scare you. This world is scary. The deeper and further we go into the world, it's getting to be a dark, scary place out there. Like people are cruel nowadays. Um, People just don't care. They just don't. So what's the point of me putting all my energy into yelling at a stranger and they don't care? If anything, it just makes me feel like crap more. Instead of just letting God deal with it, letting Him deal with that person, you know, because I have too many blessings in my life that God is doing. And that's the thing too, is that sometimes when you have blessings in your life, or you have blessings that are coming in your life, there's a lot of things that are going to get tossed at you that are going to try to throw you off track and distract you from what He's got planned for in your life. And I think that's kind of like a repetitive thing with me. I've noticed whenever something good happened in my life, there was always this struggle boat that I was in first, and I had a lot of stuff that I had to do, or you know, I had to get through in order to get to that. And there was a lot of tests that I went through. Wow, I totally missed a whole entire section of my eyebrow. And there would be a pause moment where I would just be like, you know what? Hold on a minute. This is starting to get a little weird. You know, I'd be like, okay, a lot of this stuff really doesn't make any sense, and it would just be kind of obvious. It would just be kind of obvious that something was happening. And sometimes my family would be present, and I would tell my husband, like, some of this stuff is a little bit too weird. It's just a little too weird, and I don't think I'm gonna work this today. I think I'm gonna skip it. I was thinking about putting eyeshadow on, but I don't know if I want to or not. I think I might skip eyeshadow today. I think I just might put like a little powder on, but and then right afterwards there would be a blessing. So that double rainbow this morning was really, it was nice to see, and it was really pretty. So it was nice. My kids loved it. They were so happy to see it. They were like, wow, their little faces. It was cute. I hope you guys are having a good time. I hope you guys are having a great day, night, week, whenever you watch this. I am currently, right now, I didn't really know if I wanted to talk about this right now in this video, or if I wanted to wait until my November video. I'm probably gonna talk about it again in that video, but I ended up getting a new job. I know everybody's probably like, what the frick? Like, this is like your third job. Well, the thing is that, okay, so I had 2 job interviews in September. It was either August or September. No, it was September. I had 2 job offers, 2 job interviews, and it sucked because I really wanted the job. Like, one of them I really wanted, and I didn't get it. I ended up losing it to someone else, and I was really, really kind of confused about it, because I thought I had the interview in the bag. Anyway, so that didn't work out. So I ended up going back to my old job, which I've already explained in another video. I've already talked about that in my Get Ready With Me I Quit video. I've already talked about that. So in the meantime, I've been searching for another place and not having much luck. A lot of people nowadays have been saying that it's really easy to find a job. Like, that's been kind of like the thing right now. It's not, though. It's really not. A lot of places are just saying that they're hiring, but they're not really hiring. They're just taking applications, and that's pretty much about it. So I've been putting apps in. I've been getting online and, doing all that stuff, but not really hearing anything back from anybody. Or I'd have, interviews, and I don't know. I just really didn't want the job. I had a job interview at Home Depot. Don't really quite care for Home Depot. I don't shop at Home Depot. I never have. I've only shopped there maybe like once. Didn't really want that job. Oh, I just screwed up. Why did I do that? I put eyeliner on my forehead. Why would I want to accentuate my forehead? up having a job interview at a place that I worked at 12 years ago. My daughter was 1. She was literally 1 year old. And there's kind of a little story time behind it. But I'm not going to go into full detail because this video is already 15 minutes long and I'm not going to do that. Anyways, it was a job interview at JCPenney. And I ended up working there, like I said, 12 years ago. My daughter was 1 year old. I was 26. I think I was 26, 27. What happened? So, when I worked there back when I was in my mid 20s, when we're in our 20s, we really don't know what we're doing. We really don't even know who we are. We don't really know what direction we're going in our life and things like that. And I was basically a new mom. I was a stay-at-home mom for 2 years before I ended up going back out in the job world. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of just put in a bunch of job applications, and then I ended up getting the job at JCPenney. Now, like I said, I didn't really know who I was back then, so I was kind of just more like into my appearance and stuff. I was very, very immature back then. I wore way too much makeup back then. I was very insecure about myself. I didn't think about my personality. Nothing. It was just really weird. I ended up wearing like wigs to the job that I didn't need to wear. I was super duper insecure. Well, these insecurities basically ended up showing on the surface, and I ended up losing the job because I was screwing up a lot. I don't know, I just wasn't paying attention. I ended up buying these shoes. I remember I bought these shoes for the job, and they were really small. Like, they were too small. Now, mind you, I was on my feet for 8 hours. You're on your feet for at least 8 to 10 hours. I'm wearing these too small of shoes and like hobbling around the store in pain. I couldn't even walk. Anyways, the other thing that happened was the lack of training back then. So they ended up putting me through this training course that was 1 day. It was to learn how to work their cash registers. It was a 1 day training course. I didn't really get a lot of anything. They just tossed me up on the cash register. Then they ended up having me close unannounced. I didn't know that I was closing, and I wasn't put through a training process for closing. Nobody showed me how to close. It was just threw me up on the register and had me close. I didn't know how to do it. I screwed it all up. But it wasn't my fault because they didn't properly train me. The crew that I was working with back then was very diverse. There was teenagers, there was senior citizens, there was middle age, and there was this one dude that was my supervisor who thought he was all that in a bag of potato chips, and he was extremely rude. He was very, very snotty. He was very stuck up, and he's the one that tossed me up on the register after all my coworkers had tried telling him she doesn't know how to do this, she was never trained. He didn't care. So after that one night, the next day I came in to work, and I was called into the office, and I sat down, and he was sitting there, and they fired me. And then he said, "You just don't have the face for JCPenney." Which I didn't quite understand what he was saying, because what does that have to do with me not knowing how to work the computer? He basically said that I was ugly and that I didn't need to work there. Sorry guys, this is a really bad angle. When I went to my job interview on Wednesday, I was extremely hesitant about going. But something came to me that was like, that was 12 years ago. These people aren't there anymore. You know, we've been through COVID. They shut down. A lot of people lost their jobs back in 2020. A lot of places just completely just lost everything. So, yeah, I went. And like I assumed, nobody that I used to work with works there anymore. It's all completely brand new people, brand new manager, brand new staff. And my interview went great. I got the job, and I start on Tuesday of next week. Wow, my mascara transferred really bad on that eye. This one always gives me a hard time. I don't know what it is with this eye, but it never cooperates. There's always like a line, an indentation line from my eyelash curler on that eye. I think it's because that eye's more hooded. My neighbors are leaving. Take their kid to school. So yeah, I'm back in my old position. She didn't know me. The woman that interviewed me, she didn't know who I was, and I've never worked with her before, and I never worked with any of these people. So it was pretty much I was a new person. Um, they asked me on the application, have I ever worked there before? And I said no. And technically, I could say that because it was over 10 years ago that I worked there. So I didn't, I never worked with these people before. So I think they didn't really care, honestly, because they looked like they needed help. Yep. So I went from wanting a job at the hardware store to working at a clothing department, very popular clothing department. It's funny too because I know like so many people that their first jobs were J.C. Penney, and they say that it was one of their first jobs, and or they worked there for years or things like that. I've heard so many people say that. They'll be like, I worked at J.C. Penney for like 30 years. And I'm like, oh. So it must be like a popular place to work at. I don't know. They must be doing something right. I would not. That's got to be the street from here. Yeah, it is. I would not recommend it for like a young girl. Like if you don't really know what you're doing or what you want to do, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend JCPenney to be your first job. It is a very like you're on the spot job and you're walking around and you're very like with the customers and you're also it's a very high end chain department store, so they have ways that they do things and they fold things a certain way and things. And I think that was one of the killers too, is that I didn't know what I was doing. So I basically would just like fold clothes, but I did it the wrong way. And, I didn't really, I was 25. I was like 25, 26 years old. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I was more was worried like every mirror and it was like, you're retarded. So, I'm kind of like excited to, see what they're all about now. And I am a little nervous though, because they said that there's a couple of stores that this mall that we have right now is actually getting ready to shut down. They've been talking about it for the past couple of years, and I'm really kind of scared. I'm like, uh oh. They said that they haven't been doing very good. The mall hasn't itself. The outlet, J.C. Penney itself, has been doing okay, but the mall is not doing good. So if the mall shuts down, J.C. Penney, the store will probably shut down because they won't be able to. Obviously, they won't have anywhere to keep their store. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about that because the manager that just came from there, from a different store, um, her mall shut down, and I guess that's kind of been happening all over the place. Like malls have been shutting down across America, and they said the reason why they're shutting down is because of Amazon. They said a lot Amazon's taking over like everything because nobody goes anywhere anymore, and I think that's kind of BS because I love going to the store. Like, who the heck wants to be in their house 24/7? Like, I'm not gonna sit in my house all the time, and I don't know. It's just making me nervous. Like, I feel like, what's next? You know, like Target. It's like, are they gonna shut down? And I guess a couple of Targets in Canada shut down, and then there's like a couple of Targets here in the United States that shut down, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And also, sometimes when you go to Target, it's like there's nobody in there. It's kind of like almost like pre-COVID days. I'm not gonna lie, when it was like that and there was nobody in the store, it was awesome. Like, it would be so easy to just like go in the store and it was quiet and there was nobody in there, and but it was sad at the same time because you knew exactly what was going on. So, anyways, that is my little get ready with me and little chit chat. I know some people like these videos, some people don't. They say they drag and they're just boring. Some people enjoy the little talks because they like to, add in their little 2 cents in the comments. Um, I enjoy interacting with my subscribers, and I like it when you guys can, relate to what I'm talking about. So, um, I don't really want to talk about too much right now because then I'm not going to have anything to talk about at my November so far videos and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that is it. That is my morning little get ready with me with my Easter cup. So, hope you all are having a great night, great day, great week whenever you decide to watch this video, or if you watch this video. If you got this far, you're awesome. Thank you for subscribing and thank you for commenting, and I hope to speak to y'all again soon.